It has a conglomeration, a confluence of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Momos, chatamari. It's a very controversial sort of topic. Namaste, welcome to Kathmandu, Nepal.
आज हमारे पास एक व्लॉग है नेपाल का, काठमांडू के बारे में। और आज हम देखने वाले कि किस तरीके से फॉरेनर लोग नेपाल में आके कहां कहां ट्रैवल करते हैं। नेपाल में बहुत सारी जगह हैं जिसमें अगर आप देखें पोखरा है, इलाम सिटी है, इसके अलावा बहुत सारी जगह है। लेकिन जब भी कोई फ्लाइट लेके आता है नेपाल तो सबसे पहले वो काठमांडू में ही आता है। तो चलिए देखते हैं काठमांडू, दरबार स्क्वायर और उसके अलावा इंपॉर्टेंट जगह कौन कौन सी है नेपाल की जहाँ पे ये फॉरेनर लड़की यहाँ पे घूमने के लिए आई हुई है। तो सबसे पहले व्लॉग देखेंगे, फिर आपके साथ इसके बारे में बात करते हैं।
It has a conglomeration, a confluence of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Momos, chatamari. It's a very controversial sort of topic. Namaste, welcome to Kathmandu, Nepal. While exploring Kathmandu, I have stumbled upon a very, very unique temple. This temple is called Karunamai Anandati Lokeshwara. And as you can see, this temple is one of the most unique places I have ever visited. The most interesting fact about this temple that it has a conglomeration, a confluence of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. So the temple, inside the temple, you'll find a Buddhist like place of worship. You have your prayer wheels, your bells, and all of that. But also all of these plates that you can see behind me, they have all been offered by Hindus. So basically, if somebody loses someone from their family, if a loved one passes away, they hang a plate here in their memory. This is also supposed to be a place of worship for people struggling with health issues. So if you're struggling from any disease or disorder, it is said that if you come here and make a prayer, you will recover from it. With all of these plates, hung up on the walls, this is one of the most unique temples I've ever visited. It's not a very well-known temple. I was lucky because I got in touch with a few locals from Kathmandu, so I ended up coming here. But if you're coming here, definitely come up. This is located on top of a hill in Kirtipur, so you get an excellent view of the surrounding valley as well. Behind me, you can see a pottery square close to the Taumadi village. Now, pottery, as we all know, is like one of the ancient professions. So, there have been potters here who have been practicing pottery since generations. And you can see pottery in all stages of preparation. So, you see pots for sale that are fully ready. You can also see a lot of pots here put for drying. If you are interested, you can also come for pottery making classes over here. So, I just inquired. There is this woman called Ranjana who takes pottery making classes every day. She has a shop over here and she will give you a 1 hour or 2 hour lesson depending upon your need, and it will cost you 1500 rupees. So if you're here and you have some time on your hand, come for a pottery lesson. Next thing I'm off to do is a food tour. Yeah, I'm about to go on a food tour in Kathmandu. So I don't think the exploration of any city is complete without really trying out the local street food. So that's what I'm about to do today. I'm doing this tour with this company called Guru Walks. I've mentioned them a bunch of times before. I love them. So this tour starts in Tamil, and I read the itinerary. There's going to be like momos and cell roti and some sweets, and like there's going to be a bunch of things that I'm really excited about, and I'm going to show you guys everything that we eat. First, we are trying out some Newari snacks. Now, Newaris are like the local community basically. So, we're trying out 2 or 3 of the typical Newari snacks. So, the first thing we're trying out is called chatamari. This is a rice flour pizza. So, basically, the base is made out of rice flour, and then you can choose your topping egg, cheese, chicken, buff, whatever you like. I have called for the egg chatamari. So, this is literally served like a pizza, and it is served with a tomato based like chutney sort of a thing. Next up, we're going to try the bara, which is a local lentil pancake. This is again, people usually eat this as an afternoon snack. This actually tastes very similar to like somewhere between a dosa and a idli, like somewhere between that. Quite nice. Next up, I am trying out a sweet dish called gyomari. Now, this is essentially a steamed like rice flour dumpling sort of a thing, and it is filled with jaggery and sugar and shredded coconut and a couple of spices. This sort of reminds me of modak that we eat back in India. It has like this bittersweet sort of taste. I like the fact that it's not too sweet. It has a nice bitterness of sesame and the molasses, the jaggery molasses. So next up what I'm trying is this dish called luffing. Luffing is technically not Nepalese. It is actually from Tibet, but it is frequently had here in Nepal. So luffing is essentially, it's these rolls which are made out of flour, okay, and they are stuffed with tofu, a spicy sauce, and also noodles. So I can see, I think there's YY in it. Yeah. Is this YY? And then you have pieces of tofu and they're covered in a spicy sauce. And next up, I'm trying out sel roti. Now, this is something that I had heard about a lot. So, this is essentially like a fried rice flour sort of preparation. Looks like a pretzel. It's not a pretzel. It's actually a sweet that people usually make during the Deepavali festivities, like the Deepavali celebration over here. It's hard and chewy. It's like semi-sweet, not too sweet. Quite nice. I'm here right now at the Kathmandu Darbar Square, and this beautifully carved building that you can see behind me is actually called the Kumari Ghar. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Nepal has a culture of living goddesses. There is a selection process in which girls born in the families of certain clans or communities are actually eligible to be chosen as the next living goddess. Now, this selection happens when the girl is between 1 to 4 years of age, and there are 32 selection criteria that the girl has to meet to be chosen as the Kumari. These vary from the family that she's born in to whether she has any scars or marks on her body. There are different criteria that are used, and the Kumari that is chosen actually lives in this Kumari Ghar. There is a viewing window of like about 1 hour every day when she actually comes in the window and she gives her blessing to people who come to see her. So that's what I went inside for right now. You're of course not allowed to photograph her, so I won't be able to show you the footage from there, but basically she just comes in a window for a couple of minutes, and she's not allowed to smile or communicate with you in any way, but she's supposed to, give her blessings to you. There are 3 different Kumari Ghars at the 3 different Darbar squares in Kathmandu, and visiting her in person I think is allowed only if you're a Hindu, but even I was not able to get permission for that, so I'm not really sure how. But if you at least want to get a glimpse of the Kumari goddess, you can come to the Kathmandu Darbar square to do that. This is a very controversial sort of topic because while the Nepalese locals believe a lot in the Kumari goddess culture, there is a lot of talk about how whether this child is happy, she remains confined into this house till she comes of age and all of that. So I don't really know what's right, what's wrong, but I just wanted to see this interesting slice of Nepal's culture, which I did right now. So if you're here, I would definitely recommend you come here. You'll have to buy a ticket to the Darbar Square, which is 500 Nepalese rupees for people from SAARC countries, and then 1,000 for other countries. So now I'm going to go ahead, walk around, explore the Darbar Square a little bit more. If you're interested to know the history, the culture of Nepal, especially Kathmandu, I suggest that you visit 2 places for sure. One is the Kathmandu Darbar Square, and the second one is the Bhaktpur Darbar Square. So right now, as you can see, I'm here in the Kathmandu Darbar Square. So here you can get to see a bunch of different things. There are a couple of temples. There's a museum that takes you all the way through Nepal's history in terms of how it used to be a monarchy before the Maoist attacks, the transformation into being a democracy, into being a constitutional democracy, all of that, the assassinations, it details out basically all the history of the country. And apart from that, there are exhibitions about paintings, there are knickknacks from the royal family, there are you can observe the typical Nevari style architecture, which is very interesting. It has elements from Hinduism, it has like floral motifs, animals, and all of that. The Nevari architecture is actually very, very interesting to see. So, yeah, if you have an hour or two, definitely take some time out, and you can come to the Kathmandu Darbar Square. The ticket cost is 500 NPR for SAARC countries, and for other countries, it's 1000 NPR. You can also visit the Kumari Ghar at the same time. If you are going to visit the Kumari Ghar, make sure you're there at 11 a.m. because that's when she comes out to give you her blessings. On my quest to try out everything local in Kathmandu, how could I miss out on the one thing that you think of when you say Nepal, right? Momos! So I'm here at this place called Narayan Daiko Momos. Narayan Daiko Momos. So I just googled and asked locals about a bunch of the popular local places. So one name that came up was Everest Momos. But they serve, I think, only beef and pork momos. But Narayan Daiko serve chicken, veg, and all of that as well. So I'm here at Narayan Daiko. Now they've served their momos with two different sauces. So one is the green sauce, and then there is one red colored, dry sort of chutney on which there was a warning written that it's too spicy. So let's taste and see how these are. I'm so excited. Mm. Oh my god. Oh my god. They are delicious. Just a little bit. Yes, spicy. So good. Well, this is my last evening in Kathmandu, and as you can see, I'm spending it walking around the Tamil market. Tamil is hands down my favorite neighborhood in the city. I was also staying in Tamil, and like it has insane amounts of cafes, restaurants, bars, all of that. If you want to shop for souvenirs, or anything else, the Tamil market is literally the best. Like you have all kinds of outfits. Like you have these really like hippie type of pants and like dungarees, t-shirts, all of that. You have like the coolest Nepal coat t-shirts. Then you have all of your souvenirs like fridge magnets, shot glasses. You have your bells and singing bowls from here. You have tote bags made out of hemp. You have any local handicraft that you name it. And the best part is that most shopkeepers will haggle a little bit. So remember to bargain and reduce the price a little bit. But yeah, this is the place if you want to do a little bit of souvenir shopping. Um, so yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up my Kathmandu video here, right here in my favorite Tamil market. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and come back for my next episode, which is going to be Pokhara. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Until then, don't forget, hit the subscribe button.
तो आप लोगों ने व्लॉग देखा होगा, काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग लगा होगा। नेपाल में जब भी कोई आता है घूमने के लिए तो हम उसके बारे में कहते हैं कि नेपाल जो है वो अच्छा मुल्क नहीं है। ये वो लोग कहते हैं जिन्होंने नेपाल विजिट नहीं किया होता। जो लोग नेपाल विजिट कर लेते हैं, मैं यकीन दिलाता हूँ आप लोगों को, जब आप नेपाल को पूरे तरीके से विजिट करें, ये नहीं कि आपने एक सिटी देखी दूसरी सिटी नहीं देखी, मैं यकीन दिलाता हूँ आपको, अगर आप पूरा नेपाल देखोगे तो आपको दुनिया में कोई दूसरा मुल्क खूबसूरत नहीं लगेगा, क्योंकि नेपाल में दुनिया के हर किस्म की चीजें मौजूद है। नेपाल में दुनिया की सारी खूबसूरती मौजूद है। आप सबको पता है कि नेपाल ने कहा था कि हमारा मुल्क जो है वो किसी जन्नत से कम नहीं है, और इस बात को कबूल भी करते हैं। आप कश्मीर को देखें, चाहे पाकिस्तान का हो चाहे इंडिया का हो, कितना खूबसूरत है। लेकिन कोई दूसरे मुल्क वाला वहां पे जाए तो सबसे पहले पासपोर्ट, फिर वीजा, फिर ये फिर वो। लेकिन खूबसूरती उस चीज की बनती है जब आप वीजा फ्री होता है। अब पाकिस्तान भी किसी को फ्री वीजा नहीं देता, ना ही इंडिया फ्री वीजा देता है। अगर आप इंडियन कश्मीर को जाएंगे तो वहां पे इंडिया वाले कहेंगे कि यहाँ पे आतंकवादी होते, हमले होते, इसलिए वहां पे फॉरेनर को जाने नहीं दिया जाता है। पाकिस्तान में जाने तो दिया जाता है, लेकिन पाकिस्तान वीजा किसी को देता कम है, अगर देता भी है तो सिर्फ फॉरेनर को देता है, बाकी आम ममालिक को जैसे कि इंडियन, बांग्लादेशी, नेपाली को वीजा नहीं देता। दूसरी चीज, नेपाल में आपको वीजा फ्री कंट्री है, टेंशन ही नहीं है। इंडियन के लिए तो टेंशन ही नहीं है, इंडियन वाले आओ यार, आपके लिए तो खाने भी बिछाए हुए यहाँ पे, आप लोगों को तो किसी चीज की टेंशन नहीं है। बॉर्डर बस ऐसे ही क्रॉस कर लो जैसे अपने घर का दरवाजा क्रॉस करते हो और अपने घर में चले जाते हो। अगर आप बाइक लाते हो इंडिया से या कार लाते हो तो फिर आपको टैक्स देना है, और अगर आप इंटरनेशनली आ रहे हो तो कोई चीज की जरूरत आपको नहीं है, सिर्फ आप अपना पासपोर्ट लेके आए। क्योंकि अगर आप नेपाल से दूसरे किसी मुल्क जाना चाहते हो तो वहां पे भी आपको पासपोर्ट की जरूरत पड़ेगी, सिर्फ नेपाल में नहीं। अगर आप पाकिस्तान जाना चाहते हो तो पाकिस्तान में भी आपको पासपोर्ट की जरूरत पड़ सकती है। यहाँ पे अगर हम नेपाल में देखें तो आपको सबसे ज्यादा पुराने मंदिर के अलावा मस्जिद, इसके अलावा आपको स्क्वायर्स, इसके अलावा दरबार, ये सारी चीजें आपको लकड़ी से बनी बनाई चीजें मिलेगी 200-300 साल पहले। और इसके अलावा जब इस व्लॉग को आप देखते हो तो आपको लग जाता है कि यार नेपाल रियल में विजिट करना चाहिए। अगर आज का व्लॉग अच्छा लगा है तो लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब आप लोग लाजमी कर सकते हैं।